All right, so welcome to our team call. Tonight is all about leadership. And this is something I'm really excited to speak about because it's something that I have been taking a lot of note of lately, specifically within our larger team, but also just kind of the energy and personalities that have been cultivated within our smaller team here. So what is it that really identifies those people that rise from the cream of the crop, whether you're a newer coach or an older coach, to being someone who comes out of this full force, leading a huge pack behind you, right? What are those qualities that define a leader, and why is it that we are seeing it happen for some more quickly than others? That's kind of where I want to go with this idea tonight. And I just want to start by talking about what does it actually mean to be an effective leader. So I think a lot of people get it in their heads that what it means to be a strong leader is that you've got a bunch of people behind you who know all the steps that they need to do, and they're great at following you. But I heard on the National Wake Up Call something that really resonated with me. Or it wasn't the National Wake Up Call. It was actually a call with Scotty Hobbs, Cristiano, your favorite, where he said, a good leader isn't about developing good followers. It's about developing good leaders. So part of what is so beautiful about the Beachbody model and the way we build our teams is that everything is duplicatable. But why is it that sometimes you've got an awesome leader with people who are developing themselves as awesome leaders, and then sometimes you just have people that are followers and really kind of afraid to take the reins? Well, I think ultimately that comes down to how much we as leaders are willing to give the reins over. And I can personally attest to the fact that this is something that I think a lot of times has been difficult for me because I'm so comfortable in a mentorship or leadership position that role easily defines me and makes me feel good about myself. So I have a hard time wanting to give it over. And what I have had to learn is that I am not being my most effective version of a leader if I'm not handing over the reins. People need an opportunity to kind of figure out what it is that makes them an effective leader. And it's not always going to be the exact same thing that works for you. So allowing your coaches to kind of take what we have created and what we have duplicated and make their own thing of it, whether you 110% agree, that's something that's necessary. It's a step that has to take place in order for our teams to grow. We want to be developing other leaders. We want to encourage people behind us, because if we don't, then we're never going to see them growing their teams. And ultimately, we know that's where the real financial stability comes from. We don't want to be in this place where we have to continually get people plugged in with challenge packs and panic over that every week. Are we going to be making a paycheck? Because most of our money is coming from commissions. That is not how you build success in this business. You build success by training other leaders, inspiring other leaders to grow their teams. So release the reins. It takes more than just being smart and understanding the business to be a leader. And I'm going to say that again. It takes more than just being smart and understanding the business. It means practicing the habits every single day. That is sometimes really hard to do. It's these three super, super simple things that lead to our success. They're easy to do, but they're just as easy not to do. And when we do these three things, and that is what we are making the pinnacle of our business, what our business stands on, its foundation. That's what we're going to be passing along to our coaches. So I just want to turn this around on you guys. If you're looking at yourself, if you're assessing yourself, do you think that you have made our 3 vital behaviors important enough so that your coaches are duplicating that and making that the center of their businesses? Have you been committed enough to those 3 things that your coaches understand the importance of doing those things in order to grow their business? All right. The second thing I want to talk about is identifying the kind of leader you want to be. This is something that I have had to grapple back and forth with because I am a Ruby personality. And if you don't know what that means you are competitive, you are driven by like goals and deadlines. And that is 100% me, 100%. So for me, it's been difficult because I see Becca and I see what she's doing and I'm like, dang, that's hard, but I could totally do that. And I see those top 10 coaches and I'm like, well, dang, I want that too. I want to be a top 10 coach. But I also know that my dreams for my life far exceed Beachbody. You know, a lot of us we've got other things we're legitimately passionate about that we want to continue to pursue. And it's not just Beachbody. Beachbody is another vehicle that feeds us and gives us the opportunity to really thrive in our artistic setting or our other academic setting. So I have had to come to the place where I'm okay with saying, you know what? My goal in this business is not to be a top 10 coach. My goal is to be financially stable. My goal is to, I would love to be a 5-star elite coach by December. That's a title I would like, elite. And that is something that I could feasibly work toward without having to sacrifice my career in order to see that huge 10-star or top 10 achievement, right? So I am stressing this to you guys because I want you to understand that there is not one place you have to end up in this business. You can decide what kind of a leader you want to be, how far you want to take this. But what I ask of each of you is to continue to honor that by giving it the importance that it deserves. So if you are in this to be a hobby coach and just make some supplemental income, that's fine. The 3 vital behaviors are still going to be the things that get you there, but you probably don't need to be leading and pushing towards big, huge, massive goals the same way that someone that's working toward being an elite coach is going to push. I also say this because you can be a really effective leader and guide people and encourage people to grow their own businesses without having to run team calls on your own or run your own sneak peeks. And, you know, that is all stuff that is easily duplicatable for you. But I want you to know that that's not required of you in order for you to be a legitimate, successful leader. And it is not required for you in order to help people along their journeys. We all got into this because we had a want to better ourselves and better our lives. So your job as a coach is to continue helping other people do that. And if you want to build an income, then to maybe start training people on what it is that you're doing when you're running challenge groups. 3, just like kids watch their parents, your coaches are watching you. So right now we're diving into the meat of the call. This is an idea that I think we probably as a huge team do not place enough importance on. Like attracts like, guys. So if you are someone that is coming into this with a ton of excuses and saying, you know what, like, I really just don't have the time to fit this in between auditions, or I am going to school full time and all I can afford to do is post to my challenge groups. So I'm not going to do my personal development and I'll get my workout in occasionally. If you're someone that comes in making excuses, You may attract coaches, but that's the kind of coach you're going to attract. So you need to decide, what kind of coach is it that I want building my team? I can tell you, for me, I want someone who's going to be passionate about the community, because that's what's caught fire within me. I want someone who is passionate about helping other people. Their heart is in the right place, and they want to do the work that it takes to grow the business. That work, those 3 vital behaviors, are things that excite them, because they're growing themselves and they're helping other people do the same. So if those are the kinds of people that I want to attract, guess what that means? I need to be putting the importance on it in that way. So I urge you guys to figure out, what kind of leader is it that you want to be, and assess whether you're doing the behaviors that are going to attract those kinds of coaches. So some questions I have for you. Are you the kind of leader that will push to the very end, or do you give up before? And what I mean by that is 11:59 p.m. rolls around on September 30th, 31st. I don't even know what the last day of the month is. Last day of the month, 30th. At 11:59 p.m., are you still pushing? Or did you kind of already give up on the goal you had set? It's a legitimate question. And it's one that I think all of us kind of probably initially look at it like, I don't really need to do that, because if I'm not hitting it at 11:45 p.m., then what are the chances I'm going to hit it at 11:59? The difference is that the people that push to 11:59 p.m., guys, at some point, they experience something happening within that last 2 minutes, and then they know it's worth it to push till 11:59 every single time. So are you going to let the opportunity pass you by to experience that, so you know it's worth? Or are you going to be the person that gives up before the deadline even happens? And just know, you are teaching your coaches to do the same thing. If you're not pushing till the very end, if you're not in it with them, if you're not in the grind actively, neither are your coaches. They don't see the importance if they don't see you putting the importance on it. Are you consistent? Do you post 3 to 5 times a day? Do you do your 3 vital behaviors? Do you run monthly challenge groups? Or are you kind of an off and on, like, maybe I'll be really all in this month, and the next month I'm not? Are you hitting Success Club regularly? It is not enough. If you are saying, I am a leader, I want to attract leaders, it is not enough to hit Success Club every other month. Success Club requires you to help 3 people. 3. If you were looking at it as something that's really hard to get, that's the problem. You're looking at it as a get, as an opportunity to make money. And that's wrong. Your heart needs to be in the right place. You need to be helping people. And if that's the culture you set in your team, those are the kinds of people you're going to attract, people that legitimately want to help. But you guys need to be setting that example. 3 coaches, that's it. 3 coaches hit Success Club every single month. And guys, there have been, my non-negotiable is Success Club 10. There have been months that I'm like, ooh, I guess I'm going to have to buy a challenge pack for one or something, and I've had to sometimes dish out money that will come back to me. But dish out money when I wasn't necessarily prepared to, because my goals were that important to me. So decide for yourself, how hard are you willing to push for your goals? And do you feel that it's something important enough to pass along to your teams? Our job is to set a culture, especially if you are someone that is going to be pushing for bigger goals within this company. You are going to be setting a culture for your team specifically. There's a reason why I run my team calls. There's a reason why I do this instead of continuing to always allow Becca to take ownership. You know, I want to be the leader of my team. I want leaders that want to be the leaders of their teams. Those are people that excite me. So if you want that, you need to be setting that precedent. You need to be setting the importance of it. You need to find ways to be creative and show the importance of hitting Success Club every month. And there are so many reasons why, guys, these things are beneficial. I do want to go ahead and talk about Success Club in general, but just in terms of like setting cultures and really building our teams with the kind of leaders that we want to attract. I have been doing a lot of research on Elite and Premier lately, and I'm not sure if you guys understand what those things are, if those are things you are pushing for, or whether you're just in this and really want to work on growing your volume so that that can translate into a steady income for you. Either way, you building your teams with substantial leadership within them as their foundation, it's necessary, guys. So one thing I found interesting, I'm pulling up my fact sheets. There are 3 different ways you can earn points toward becoming elite and premier coaches. So one is your incremental ATV. And basically what that has to do with is the amount of total volume you are building throughout the year. And for us, because we are all new coaches this year, we kind of have a leg up in this department in terms of earning points, because every 10,000 we earn is going to come out to 1 point. So what we don't have to worry about that all the other coaches do is that typically what it is whatever you reached as your last year volume. Let's say I reached 150,000 team volume points. My ATV, I wouldn't start being awarded points for that ATV until I reached 160,000. It has to be 10,000 more than whatever you hit last year. So we have an advantage because every 10,000 we hit, we're going to be earning a point. Well, if that's not reason to build a team, I don't know, because I'm not going to earn 10,000 team volume points on my own. My coaches earning volume and their coaches earning volume, that is what's going to build the opportunity for me to get points towards Elite and Premier. You need your teams to be stepping up as leaders, guys. This can help you. Another way is every 500 PV that happens for you or your coaches or their coaches, I believe it goes 3 levels down. Every 500 PV, you will get a point. So I watched something yesterday and it was like ding, ding, ding for me. Not that I didn't have this goal before, but every 5 coaches you sign up in a month, guys. That alone is over 500 PV, because when they get a challenge pack, they're signing up with over 100 PV. So what is your goal? You know, what are you trying to hit? How do you want to cycle out? You have to start reverse engineering these things and figuring out what is important to you, how you want to start building points. But the one thing it all traces back to is that we can't do this alone. We just can't. If you want to struggle your way to the top, go ahead, put it all on you. But you know what? When you have 60,000 other leaders like Lindsay Matway stepping up to the plate and getting right there in the grind with you, you have an incredible chance at success here. So I really want you all to start viewing this as an opportunity for we, not me. The last way to earn elite and premier points is personally sponsored Success Club points. This is where it's at, I think. And this is why we need to be developing a Success Club culture. This is why non-negotiable, every single person on this call, every person listening to this call needs to be setting a goal to hit at least Success Club 5. When your personally sponsored coaches hit Success Club, you get 1 point. If you hit Success Club, you get double that amount, okay? So for example, if I have 7 coaches that hit Success Club in the month of September, I'm gonna get 7 points. If I don't hit Success Club, that's it. I get those 7 points and that gets banked toward my elite and premier points. But if I do hit Success Club, I get 14, double that. We need to be lining up with the work that our coaches are putting in, and our coaches putting in work is going to be a direct reflection of how we are teaching them and what we are making important ourselves as their leaders. So I'm asking you guys to just step up to the plate here. I'm asking you guys as leaders to really start reverse engineering your goals. I want you to figure out what is important to you and decide where you want to go in this business. So your call to action tonight, once we get off this call, is write down exactly what your goal is. It doesn't have to be a top 10 coach. It can be, I want to be an elite coach. I want to have financial stability. And I'm okay with not being in the top 20 because I know that I can be financially stable without that. And I'm obviously talking to you about my goals. So develop that for yourself. What kind of leader are you? Where do you want to stand in this company? And I want you to write down one thing that you want your coaches to really make a priority. And I want you to work on developing that culture with your coaches. All right. So I'll stop the recording, but I want to know from you guys if you have any questions. Let's kind of talk things out and figure out where you all are, if you have questions about these things specifically. And I do just want to end this by saying I am legitimately so proud of you guys and what our team is bringing to the table. And I am saying this wholeheartedly because especially this week, I have heard multiple people talk about the fact that they dropped in rank and they're really struggling to get their coaches to hit Success Club. And I am so incredibly gifted with a group of people that just never stops pushing. You guys know what it is to hustle, and that makes me happier than anything else I could have ever passed along, because that hustle, that will and not wanting to give up is what defines success, I think, for our team. And you guys just show up week after week killing it, and it really means a lot to me as your coach and your coaches. You know, I just know we are doing incredible things here, and I don't want to finish this call without telling you guys how amazing I think you are.